Your ex is silent and you don't know what to do and how to interpret this silence. In this video, I'm going to share with you what to do with that silence, whether you should contact your ex or you should not contact your ex. I'm going to cover how to manage it the right way, because there's wrong ways to manage that silence, and also the strategy to do during that radio silence. Before I move on, just to remind you that there's a quiz to know if you have any chance to get back with your ex. The link is in the first comment of the video and also in the description. If you're watching on your phone, you just have to click on the title and you'll see the links over there. And it takes 2 minutes. It's totally free, and you have the assessment whether you have any chance to get back with your ex, a score giving you a probability, and it's done with psychologists and using a lot of data that we have already in our database. So let's get started. The process, how it works. There's first, after a breakup, and it's a bit harsh to understand, there's a relief period from your ex that they broke up with you and now they have that relief period. And sometimes, and usually, when you try to get back with them and try to pressure them at this stage, they will tell you, I don't want to be with you. And so you have to respect that. But after a few weeks, a few months, they will be sad that the relationship is over. And they will start to worry about you. So this is what we're going to cover in that video. Because lots of the time I see a lot of people wanting results really quickly, 24 hours. Like I had a call the other day from a client and she was telling me, I've done no contact for 12 hours. I have no news. Is it a good time to contact my ex? I said, obviously no. You have to use some time. Radio silence is really working because time is on your side. So it's working if you allow time to do the work. It's like when you're watering a plant, it's not about how much water you put on day one, it's about how progressively, day by day, you just water a little by little. So it's longer, be mindful of that. Let's get to it. The relief period that we covered before. So from their point of view, it's the relief from that prison effect of being in that relationship where things didn't work out. So they are not interested in you anymore. And as a result, they would try new things, they would hook up with different people, sometimes really different from who you are. They'll, experience new things. And yeah, as I said, mostly, a lot of time opposite to you. From your point of view, what you do is like, oh yeah, you're completely focused on your ex. When you wake up, you think about them. When you go to bed, when you're in your bed and before you go to sleep, you think about them. And you think about them. When you eat, you think about them. You think about them all the time. And so you see the dynamic is completely different from them being free and enjoying that freedom, which would be temporary. And you being completely focused on that goal. And so you're a bit of someone who is a drug addict, you have this withdrawal phase where the only thing you can think is that product that you're missing, which is your ex. This is temporary, as I mentioned. The idea is, what you have to understand, that your ex doesn't want to hurt you. They just want to appreciate the moment. They just need that phase to be relieved from that pressure, because you have to acknowledge that might be a big step for them to take the decision. And so using that radio silence would really, really force them to do the experiment of being alone. They want to be alone, let's get them this. So the second thing is, as I said, put them cast away, put them on their island, they want to be free, they want to be alone, put them in that situation. So you need for you to let them experience the void, life without you. They will have to suffer from your silence. And I say suffer, actually it's not the wrong word, because it's not a punishment. It's just, you have to make them understand your place in their life. They don't want you as a lover, then they won't have you. They can't have both. So you need to really reverse that balance that they set in place, that they decided to break up. Now it's you to decide, like, okay, you want to break up, we're going to have a break. We don't want to be a nuisance, like a fly on their back. Otherwise you risk to get hit very hard. Because otherwise what's going to happen? the reminders and spamming them, they would really comfort them in that decision. It will really drive them away. You would look like a stalker. You don't want to look like that. You look for someone who didn't really understand why they broke up. Because they had reasons. Maybe you don't agree with those reasons, but they had reasons. So you need to respect those reasons. You need to be the person who accepts and not in denial. Okay? So it's very important for you to do that work right now. Because unless you fixed, unless you understood those things, never, ever they will come back with you. So you have to understand all those things and you have to project that thing. So number 4 is it understand, as I said, to put yourself at their level. Okay? Look at this basketball player. You need to reach that level. Is it shaking a little? Maybe. You are mature. You are independent. You are not afraid. You are willing to put yourself down. Right? You are positive. You're moving forward. Nobody is attracted by someone who is depressed. Nobody is attracted to someone who's negative. So force yourself to be positive. Remember, at the beginning of the first phase, the relief phase, where they were trying to be free and enjoy life versus you being desperate and down, you have to match that thing. Okay? Even though it's hard, and I know it's hard, you have to do it. And so this radio silence for that purpose really, really is magical. Because the mystery is extremely powerful. By not knowing what you're up to, your ex will be driven naturally back to you. You use that for yourself to take a step back, reflect on what we covered before. You know, what didn't work, how can I improve myself, how can I fix some of the things that were broken in our relationship. And then you create curiosity. Obviously, they understand, they will be keen to learn more about you. And curiosity is the trigger for attraction. Remember when you were dating for the first time, what was really exciting is the things that you didn't know. You know, if everything is obvious, if everything is transparent at the beginning of a relationship, then there's no attraction, there's no passion, there's no sort of a little bit of the sparkle in a tubby, things like that. Remember that. So number 5, the ego boost. Be careful of that. The ego boost is when they leave, they feel superior. They made the decision, they are driving the car, they are basically feeling that as they made the decision, they are right, you're wrong. And they would sometimes deny that they have this ego fight, but it's natural. They made the decision, so they would feel that they're better off without you. And so sometimes he or she would say to their friends, look at him or her. You know, she's still texting me, she's so into me. You know, I'm above that. Don't feed their ego. Because that's what most people do, is they really, really play that game of ego. And by doing that, you're feeding the beast, you're feeding the ego. By doing a radio silence, they can't confront you. They can't be fed by your misery, by your text, by your nice things, by your nice gestures. They can't. So the ego is not fed and then would reduce and get back to the same level as yours. So if they were attached to you, they would be with you. So you need to recreate that attraction. It's only by recreating attraction that you would be able to get them back. Only by creating attraction, you would be able to get them back. It's not about complaining, it's not about explaining things, it's not about, it's about attraction. This is what it's all about. So radio silence works for that, because by creating that void, creating that mystery, the curiosity, you would start to be more attractive. They would be curious to know more about you. And so the loss of attraction is natural in any couple. It makes sense. Therefore, that's why it's very important for you to break that relation, that connection that you have after the breakup, even if it's just nice text that you feel it's great for you, that you feel keeps you connected from your ex. It's actually not what will create attraction. So, before I move on to the last point, really take action, subscribe to the channel, it's totally anonymous. Comment if you have any questions, I reply to all the comments, I'll be more than happy to provide tips. And lastly, but not least, have a call. There's a link where you can have a call with me. It's totally free, I love to help out. My purpose is to really help people have fulfilling love relationship, and I know you deserve a second chance. So more than happy to help and have a chat with you and discuss how I can help you and share some of my tips and experience. The last point, no one likes to be ignored. It will attract them. So think you have to shift your mindset here. They would hesitate. They will always hesitate. They always hesitate. And you'll see they'll try indirect things to contact you. Through friends, social media. They might not text you, but they might like pictures that you post on Facebook, Instagram, things like that, like your stories. Therefore, when this happens, you have to lower the ego. Remember, we talked about not feeding the ego. That's the same. When they like a post or something, don't jump on it and be like, oh yeah, so that you love my post, I'm missing you, all these kind of things. Restore the balance. Wait for them to be ready to get back with a proper text, not indirect way. Live your life, be an exciting person, be someone that they would be attracted to, and that's it. But don't enter into their game of trying to feed their ego, feeding their superiority. And the key takeaways is, and that's a question, a remark I had the other day, you can't be doing double radio silence. So if your ex is silent, they are not doing radio silence. Someone who decides to break up with you wouldn't do radio silence unless it's a narcissist person, but it's quite rare. But unless they want you to suffer, they would never do radio silence. So really try to reflect whether they're really doing a radio silence or they are really silent, and whether you are really doing a radio silence. And you have to create that seduction. You have to create that attraction. That's the base. The base here, if you want to get back with your ex, that's radio silence, to create that attraction, to create that seduction. And you'll see they won't be silent for long. They will break the silence just to check in, and you'll see it's always funny, because you'll see they'll find like, oh yeah, out of the blue conversation, they'll find an excuse because they bumped into a friend of yours or things like that. You'll see quickly enough, they'll reach out to you, but in a direct way. Take care of yourself. Bye.